Dr. Anthony Fauci speaking yesterday with Mike Allen of Axios, raising concerns that some Americans are, quote, misinterpreting the CDC's new mask guidance.
In reality, that's what we're seeing, because people are hearing and they misinterpret guidelines. That happens all the time. It's not their fault. That's just people either read them quickly or listen and hear half of it. They are feeling that we're saying you don't need a mask anymore. That's not what the CDC said. They said if you are vaccinated, you can feel safe that you will not get infected either outdoors or indoors. It did explicitly not say that unvaccinated people should abandon their masks.
So if you have the vaccine, you can take the mask off. That's the bottom line. Meanwhile, the debate over masks returns now to Capitol Hill, with House Democrats rejecting a Republican effort to roll back the requirements yesterday. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy argued masks should no longer be required in the chamber. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office offered this response: get your members vaccinated against COVID-19 first. The resolution was defeated in a party line vote of 218 to 210. Members of Congress were among the first Americans with access to the vaccines, but many of them have not been vaccinated. Several Republican lawmakers publicly have refused to get a shot. Dozens more have refused to disclose whether they have been vaccinated. So, Anna Palmer, actually over in the Senate, most Republicans, all Democrats and most Republicans have been vaccinated. It's the House Republicans, as you might expect, where a lot of them, I think the number is less than half of Republicans, have publicly said, yes, I have been vaccinated.
Yeah, it's a big problem for them. And you've seen this week where House Republicans have tried to go to the House floor and in protest be taking off their masks. And the speaker's not playing here. She has fined them. They have a kind of a first warning and then a $500 fine. And to this point, she's not going to change it right now, because there's at least 75% is what the most recent reports say of some, only 75% actually being vaccinated. And so there's a lot of concern about what that means for staff, what that means for those who are in compromised positions. And unfortunately, Kevin McCarthy isn't telling all of his members, hey, guys, just go get vaccinated and we can get rid of the masks. He's just trying to make a political point here.
Michael Steele, it's really the Republican Party, my former party, being a party that is taking pride in ignoring medicine, ignoring basic science, and a lot of these people are being hypocrites. You know that a lot of these people have secretly gotten vaccines, and they're posing publicly to their anti-vax crowd, to the QAnon crowd, and claiming that they didn't. And so it's of course, it's not only impacting people as they go on the House floor to deliberate, but it's impacting their staff members as well. It's impacting the people they come in contact with all the time. It's forget about it being anti-medicine, anti-science. It's just anti-social. It's just rude. It's just rude.
Yeah, it is, and it shows a lack of concern or interest in the health of those around them. And you're right. I suspect a lot of those members have gotten vaccinated, but they're playing the political card and saying, I'm not going to tell you. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, I got vaccinated. You should get vaccinated too. What's so hard with that sentence? What's so hard with that reality? Well, it doesn't play into the Trumpian narrative. And it doesn't play into this idea that, you've stoked people in a certain direction. You've pushed them towards a cliff, and now you don't want to, guys, we don't want to go that way. You don't want to play that anymore. We don't need to go down that road. The reality of it is people's lives, those members who work on the Hill, your staffs, people in the neighborhoods and communities in which you live. I mean, you're a leader. You set the example, and yet at every turn they seem to shy away from that leadership moment. And again, I go back to the point I made earlier. Go next year, look at the country and say, give us the keys to the kingdom. Put us back in charge, because these guys are socialists. Ta-da! That's it right there. And that's the best argument they'll come up with.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy, Willie. I talked to family members and friends who are saying, why is the government finally doing this? Why are they required? Why do I have to get this to, what about the vaccine passports? And then they'll say, well, why does this group of people need to be vaccinated? Why do these children need to be vaccinated? And they ask these questions. My family and friends ask these questions as if this is the first time that this has ever happened. And like, this is the first time that people have been encouraged to get vaccines. The first state that require vaccines for children to go to school was Massachusetts. Was that, let's see, 1970? Oh, no, it was 1809. In 1809, we've been doing this for a while. And all of these people that are going crazy about you're taking my freedom away for vaccinations, your kids have to get vaccinated before they go to school. This has been the way it's been your entire lifetime, all 50 states. Right here, I'm just looking, polio, diphtheria, tetanus, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis B, chickenpox, on and on. Kids are required to have those vaccines before they go to school. And some people say, well, I don't understand. Why would you want children to get vaccinated? Because they're not going to get that sick from it, most likely. It's just like the strategy for polio. The strategy is getting herd immunity and stomping out polio, getting rid of it for good. Our children have a much better chance of getting COVID than they do polio, but they're still required to get polio shots because the idea is to stamp it out all over the world and not let it spread. And again, this is just basic stuff. This has been the reality for over a century. And people are acting like this is some new violation of their civil liberties. It's absolute madness. It's absolute madness.
It is. And schools are talking right now. I can tell you about whether or not this fall they're going to require vaccines, a COVID vaccine. Companies are going through those deliberations right now. Will you have to be vaccinated to come back into the building? These are conversations that are happening. But as you say, these vaccines that our kids have been getting forever have not been controversial until now. Obviously, some things have changed with the anti-vax movement. There's this proliferation of terrible information. You have people in positions of power and leadership questioning the vaccines. But I think the way to look is toward the doctors who actually know what they're talking about and not toward political leaders trying to score points.
And Willie, by the way, the last time I checked, 90% of doctors, around 9 out of 10 doctors, have gotten the vaccine themselves.
Yep.
If these people that are running around and acting like this is the first vaccine the government, health officials have ever asked them to take, despite the fact this has been going on for a couple of hundred years, I mean, talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Talk to the person that takes care of your family. Talk to the person who took care of your child, who delivered your baby, who took care of your parents, who you know and trust. Talk to that doctor and ask them if they got the shot. Chances are really good they're going to go, well, of course I got the shot. Why wouldn't you want to get that shot?
Yeah.
It's madness.
It is. We're going to talk much more about this coming up, but also the inquiry into New York Governor Andrew Cuomo widens to include whether he prioritized COVID testing for his friends and family. Another controversy, another scandal for the governor. Plus, a look at where things stand in the crowded race to become the next mayor of New York City. Morning Joe's back in a moment.